This is FNX.
Today we're going to be talking Legend of Zelda, and I scouted up two Legend of Zelda fanatics here. My wife, Gela Rediger, and Tiffany from WWAP.
This guy. Did he look at you?
No.
Are you sure?
Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
I need money.
Ocarina of Time is your guys' specialty. What the fuck?
That's everybody's specialty.
Okay, what the fuck? It's not the #1 game of all time.
It's not?
I don't
No.
know about
No.
that.
It's not?
What? All right, okay. What makes
I'm
it?
gonna give you one more chance here, Dave.
It's not. It's not.
Oh.
I want to hear why it is.
Well, I don't
watched
actually
it.
You never
technically.
played it?
I don't
No,
actually
you won't-
technically.
You won't even watch it.
I watched it. I watched you beat it.
You
I
barely
actually-
watched me beat it.
I don't technically claim it as my #1 game of all time. I'm just saying it's widely regarded as the
Yeah.
#1 game.
Well, I just wanted to know why everyone thought it was the #1 game.
Well, and I think for the most part is the fun factor.
Yeah.
You can play that game over and over and over and over and over again and still have fun.
And I did watch you
It's
beat
the
it.
same.
I didn't pay attention the whole game, but at the last level, I literally watched you beat it.
You gotta watch the
I
rest of
didn't
it.
watch
Story
it.
is
I
great.
watched you beat
But
it.
speaking of as far as like the fun factor and how many times you can replay a game, I mean, for the most part, and that's a huge gripe today too, is replayability. A lot of people don't think a lot of the games nowadays have replay factors. Like take Grand Theft Auto 5 or another Rockstar game that was regarded as a great game but no replay value was LA Noire. Games like that where you can play the story and you play it once and now you know the story. There's nothing, there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
But in games like that, with especially the newer games like LA Noire and the GTA 5s and stuff like that, you're so engrossed in the story that like if you do play it again, the shock value, because a lot of that is shock value. A lot of that is the wow factor. It's gone after the first playthrough. For whatever reason with Zelda, the wow factor's not gone. It's still just as fun the 80th time you played it than the first time you played it.
Do you think it was so good that it ruined every other game? Because it's like, if it's the #1 Zelda game of all time, everyone has gripes about the following Zeldas.
And the previous.
To me personally, it didn't ruin it, but what kind of saved it is Skyward Sword, in my opinion, that saved the plot because it explained everything.
Yeah.
So that made sense why if something doesn't follow through in a future Zelda game, that it's a different timeline.
And it's nice because they all
Well,
connect.
Skyward is considered the second coming, so to speak, of
Yeah.
Ocarina because it was so well done. I mean, even if your main villain is this little emo thing,
I
you know.
loved him. He was fabulous.
And then you fight that huge dick thing, whatever it was, like 500 times.
what are you gonna do? I mean, you fight a huge dick thing, you got a video game. But I really do think that it was the story. I mean, it just melded everything that you want in a good game, and it was one of the first games to do it. Like, there were other adventure games out there, there were other open world games, but the gameplay mechanics, the amount of weapons you got, the boss fights were challenging but still fun. The good characters, everything about that game was just a nice bow.
Yeah.
It was just a nice present wrapped in a bow saying we love our fans.
All right, how many fans do you think are out there that love Ocarina of Time enough to make plays every year?
You mean like me?
Explain your Zelda plays. Double A doesn't know about this.
Well, okay, so ever since we were little, we loved Zelda so much because we actually watched Zelda before we were actually able to play it because we watched.
You watched that god awful cartoon?
No, not the cartoon.
I was
like
like, oh, God.
Ocarina
Yeah.
of Time.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
watched.
I was
We
like,
watched.
oh, God.
I love that. I love the cartoon. It's so awful, but it's like
It's the Star Wars holiday
"Excuse
specials
me,
for Nintendo."
Princess. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so
Okay.
bad.
Nintendo
Yeah, it's so
doesn't.
awful.
They don't claim that anymore.
Yeah.
That and what was the other one? They had a couple. They had a Legend of Zelda cartoon.
Well, they don't claim the Mario one either.
The Mario, yeah. But anyways,
But it started out, we were watching our grandpa and my mom used to play Ocarina. So we used to sit there and watch it, and we couldn't really, grasp really how to play the game without freaking out and dying at the age that we started playing it at. So we started making plays where we would reenact the whole entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started filming it.
Yeah.
So every single, except for the past couple years, due to some circumstances, we would, every year they kind of get better and just more ridiculous and not related to things.
Yeah,
Well,
more inappropriate.
I found this out when I first started dating Angela, and I said, "Oh, cool! You guys do like a different Zelda play every year." And you're like, "No, it's always Ocarina of Time.
It's the same one.
Same one every year."
Well, what did you guys think of Majora's Mask? Oh, and by the way,
That
did
one-
you hear about the fact that it's getting
Yeah.
Well, that one just recently
its 3DS remake?
Didn't that one just recently get credit? Like, it's just now starting to get the credit for
Yeah,
being a
it
good
was
game.
never got that much credit.
You know what really started it was that theory. Have you guys heard about the theory of that game, the Majora's Mask? The whole theory is that Link is dead, and that he's got to go through all of the stages of
It makes sense. 'cause
like
it's really
denial, acceptance, anger, all the
That
different.
makes sense.
Well,
That's a huge game. There's an
Yeah.
awesome YouTube.
Theories
I
are
don't know if
big
it's
now.
a channel or if it's a series, but anyway, there's an awesome thing on YouTube called Gamer Theory. If you haven't checked that out, check that shit out.
yeah.
But that was on there, and I think that it wasn't until that people actually started to look at the game, because the beginning of the game, it doesn't start off with that saying where it starts off by saying something like "you've been through a terrible ordeal" or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I don't remember exactly. I haven't played that one in a really long time. I think I've only played that one twice. And that was when it first came out, and then a couple years after that. So, that one I only played.
So is Ocarina of Time, because every single gamer, whether you be casual like to the extreme or whether you be hardcore to the extreme, has a game that they play every year. Is that your guys' game?
Ocarina of Time, yes.
Yes.
Well, your other one is similar to the Zelda series. It's Final Fantasy,
Final Fantasy X.
which
Well,
yeah,
You know,
Two.
those go.
they are all tattooed up with Zelda and
Zelda.
See, that's what is it with that? What is the correlation? I was
don't
wanting
know.
to ask you this. What is the correlation there? Why does everybody who seems to love Ocarina love Final Fantasy X so much? I've never met
That
somebody.
is-
No, I don't know. There's not
met,
really anything.
I've never met anybody who says I love this one and I hate this one. They love them both.
Maybe it's
different games too.
It's it's not even like it's similar stories.
Is it because Link and Titus are both bitches?
No.
Like everybody just likes them.
I mean, they kind of are.
They kind of are, but no.
My blonde
'Cause
little
one's-
fairies run around.
One's a turn-based game, a turn-based fantasy game, and the other one's like open-world action adventure. So it's,
Right.
they don't have any ties.
I don't know. Maybe it's like I don't know. For me, I've never actually
Different kind of challenge, maybe.
compared the two. I can see kind of similar kind of things with the plot line where Titus.
Well, it's all similar. I mean, Titus and Link are pretty much the same character. I mean, they're both blonde little fairy things that are fixated on a woman, and they do everything because of that woman.
Yeah, that's what I like. And that
except
woman,
for I guess in Final Fantasy, Titus is mad at his dad or whatever emo things that were going on at the time.
Yeah,
Right.
but then
then-
Zelda and Yuna are kind of comparable, as in they're this like goddess
Right.
entity like.
Yeah. Maybe
There's
it's
always
that. Maybe
there's
it's
some
that.
creepy dude who transforms who trying to rape the
Seymour.
princess.
Maybe
Seymour.
Zelda fans.
Whether it be Seymour or Ganondorf.
Yeah, maybe Zelda fans and Final Fantasy fans are attracted to that story.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be because the plot line is definitely what drives me for Ocarina so much too. Is that, I mean, it's not even just the gameplay, because the gameplay is fun. We've played that game I play the game at least twice every single year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
What do you
love
guys
the
think
game.
about the speed runs? Have you ever watched the speed runs?
We discovered that when I was living in.
It blows your mind. I know that.
I
I think we watched it once, but
Do you guys
I don't
think
I
it
was
takes the
sober
fun
when I
out
was
of the
watching it.
game? Like, to do, like, all the tricks and everything? Like, because there's a trick in the game where you can just fast forward through all the childhood shit.
Well, it means
I
that
never
you-
do that.
You can go right to being an adult. There was one.
I love the game so much. I like playing the whole thing.
There was
Yeah.
one. There was one that blew my mind. I didn't see it coming. This guy did like a backflip in the Deku tree. And
Yeah.
he skipped everything and went right to the final boss. And I was like, you can
Jeez.
fucking do that?
I mean,
it blew my mind. I was
it's
like, the fuck?
something. It's something that's cool that you can do. Like, you can do this cheat. But for me, I sit there and play the game because I want to revisit
It
everything.
just blows
all
my
over
mind that
again.
you can finish that game in half an hour. Like, you can
Yeah.
knock it out in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Like, it's no big deal.
But like,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. A lot of with Ocarina of Time is it's emotional to me as well because it's not even just the game. It's my family grew up watching that game,
Yeah.
so it has so many emotional ties for me that I just sit there and I want to revisit everything because it brings everything back.
Mhm.
From watching my grandpa playing it to
So-
us making the plays together.
So, how many times have you guys made the mistake / did it for fun kicking the cuckoos?
Oh, too many.
Did they kill you? I remember the first time that happened, I was like, the fucking chicken just killed me.
Well, you get swarmed. You get swarmed. And at that point in the game, you only have like maybe 6 hearts
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just get swarmed. You get hit 30 times a second. It's a lot of fun.
So, yeah.
Let's fast forward.
Yeah, so where do you guys want to see the future of Zelda going? And what do you feel about all these HD remakes?
I wish if they were gonna, when they redid Ocarina, that they actually
Redid it.
Like,
same story, same,
I think-
script.
same everything, just make everything actually look like
There's
you
just a
tried.
couple curves.
Have you played it on the 3DS?
Yeah, we have that. I mean,
It's just brighter.
everything's a little crispier, but it's not, if I'm going to sit there and you're going to actually take the time to remaster a game, why don't you make the characters look like...
Well, and see, that's it too.
You
You have to
remastered it.
understand, it's not. That's all it is. It's an HD remaster. It's not a remake.
Yeah,
A remake of the game is like, I'm a huge fan of the Pokemon games.
yeah.
A remake is like what they're doing with Ruby Sapphire, which comes out next month, and what they did with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They took the original game, they added new things, they added new graphics, new Pokemon, etc. That's a remake.
Yeah, I wish
What they
they would have
did,
done
all
that
they
instead.
did was what Disney does to make their films Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They just made them look
Yeah,
nicer.
yeah.
And
It's the same thing.
Up the graphics.
It's
Yeah.
cool, whatever, if you want to, like, play Ocarina in 3D and whatnot, but that's not something, as, remakes, or remasters don't really...
All it does is it helps the longevity, but
Gives
it's...
them-
Well, I mean, it gives younger fans an avenue to play it. I mean, because what 7 to 12-year-old, 15-year-old these days has a Nintendo 64 at home?
Yeah.
I do, but I mean, I've had it since it came out.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Those people now have a chance to play the game, and they, people can understand. So you're right. I mean, you're right. It is just for the longevity. It's just so they can keep making money off of a game that people are still going to buy.
Yeah, and I wish they would do everything, but they would actually remake it.
Yeah.
And,
Well, they just did a...
Well, see what
they did a
but
Wind
what
Waker
you're saying
remake.
though is that you don't want a remake. What you want is a new Zelda game that's just as good. That's not
Well,
a remake.
okay.
That's a new Zelda game.
well, okay. Basically, what I would want is if I had the decision to do everything that I wanted, I would have Ocarina of Time, nothing changed, other than the characters would look something like from Twilight Princess or something more like Final Fantasy based where they look like actual real people and not like
Yeah.
cartoons.
But the
Like,
same game.
But the same exact game.
Same game, yeah.
But everything looks like
That's
realistic.
an HD remaster though. That's a
But,
remake.
it's
No,
a, but
no,
they didn't
that's
do
a-
that.
no,
they
that's-
didn't do that.
Just taking those graphics and shining them up.
Yeah.
She means to have, like
Like a complete redraw.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs type of graphics, but just the same exact story, plot, just everything.
Well, see, actually, that's what I'm commending Final Fantasy for finally doing. Final Fantasy 15 is going to come out, and these people look like normal, everyday asswipes.
See that's awesome, and it's like,
That
I
should've been
mean,
the tagline.
if you're like I understand making it better and everything because I like the HD because everything does look crispier, and
Yeah.
in my mind I prefer it as crispier. Like everything looks just like clean cut.
The water looks
Nice.
like water now.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's cool. You
Which,
you
real
want to
quick,
make money,
something that
but
I have to ask you guys because everybody love or hate the water temple.
I
Oh, you
love
were just
the
talking
water
about that.
temple. But at the same time, there's a part of me that really wants to punch Ruto in the face.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, but once you get it done, it's like, oh.
Well,
I
speaking of
hate
number
it
one
going-
list, that's like one of the top hardest levels.
Everybody talks about that level. Like I have never had any problem with it. I don't know what the hell people's problem
It
is
just
with
takes
it.
for
Like my sister, I was over at my mom's house the other day. My sister was like, "I've been trying to do this temple for years." Right, so you know when you walk in like the big column, how the water you raise
Yeah.
the water level and the block floats up. Apparently, she didn't understand that there was a hole underneath the block that floats up, so she had no
Sounds a
idea.
lot like me when I play games. Like, how the hell do I do this? But
But I just like it's little shit like that. Now, and it's another reason the game is so memorable, is because the challenges were fun, but they were also challenging. A lot of
Yeah.
people threw that. A lot of people threw a lot of fits over that temple.
Oh yeah.
so, when are you guys gonna buckle down one summer and just make like a really big budget Zelda play
That would be
with
freaking
effects
awesome.
and everything?
That'd be
Um,
great.
When these are a little bigger, we're gonna
Yeah.
use them.
They'll be in there.
Nice.
Oh man.
So I don't know what
Staying in
but my thing is I want to invest in really good costumes.
Yeah.
And they're not cheap.
No.
So
that is
that's
true.
that's something that's gonna take time
Yeah.
to get. Because I really want a Princess Zelda costume. And then I'd have to get
You see how much these cosplay costumes cost?
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
They are in the.
But I'm waiting too because I'm waiting also for the Princess Zelda costume that's gonna just like blow me away and be like, I need that.
Yeah.
That's the Princess Zelda. I want that costume.
You gotta get it.
And who are you gonna play, Angela?
I'm gonna play the guy, like always. That's all I ever play.
I do want a Ganon. I really do want to. I want Ganon to win. I want him to win just once. That's how I feel in every single game I play. I'm like, let the bad guy win once. I want to see what
They should
happens.
do like an alternate ending thing where he can, if you know.
Well, that'd be cool.
If
Well,
you
see, Final
lose-
Fantasy VI is the only game to ever do this, where the bad guy has a plan, and he hatches it, and it happens, and you're like, fuck.
Well, I mean, Assassin's Creed 3.
It was
they had
halfway through.
They had a DLC where George Washington became king. They could do that, like, if they do a remake of it again, they can do DLC where Ganon wins.
That would be awesome. I would love to see what happens, like, when he just bitch slaps Link off of a tower
It's
and
like
dies,
weird.
and it's just like, fuck. Like,
You know that.
I
that
want
would
to
be
see the
interesting.
desolation
Yeah.
in the players' faces when it's just like, because like I said, in Final
That's the end of
Fantasy
the
VI,
just credits of them going,
well,
what the fuck?
in Final Fantasy
Credits
VI,
roll.
like I said, the main bad guy, he's like, I'm gonna destroy the world. Halfway through the game, he destroys the fucking world, and it's like,
Yeah.
what do I do from fucking here?
Yeah.
And then the game goes black, and you're just like, fuck. It's just, you don't get those reactions anymore. And I would love to have just like, not a death scene either. I would love for it to be part of the story where like Link's fighting Ganon on top of a tower or something, and Ganon hits him with a fucking like spear or something. He just falls off and dies, and it's just like,
5
fuck.
years later, he's like homeless, living in a box. He's a fallen hero of time. He has to pick himself up.
no, like I want like as controversial as this is gonna sound, I want like Link to die, and then I want you to like halfway through the game, like Link dies, and then you have to restart as a new character in Ganon's world. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, or like pick up because I mean, Princess Zelda is basically the thing. What is she gonna do without her hero of time? Is she gonna be?
She's gonna
able
get
to...
raped, is what's gonna happen.
Man, you would never get a
Because
job
I
at
mean,
Nintendo.
I love Princess Zelda's my favorite character.
Imagine that Zelda's just this like sickly little golem-looking creature who's in a friggin' dungeon.
I imagine you getting a job at Nintendo.
Like
All right,
Goddess
Aaron,
of-
what's your first pitch for us?
Yeah.
And he just pitched this rape story.
Yeah.
It was Legend of Zelda.
All right, I want Zelda to get raped. Yeah, no, I just
First
like
of
imagine
all-
that. Like she's just this sickly little goddess of light that's trapped in a dungeon, and Ganon's just like, "Fuck you guys, I win."
And then it's like 10 years later, and Link is reincarnated,
Yeah.
and so, or we'll say he was.
Imagine the witch hunts.
9 years old.
Like if Ganon wins, like he's like alive when Link gets reincarnated. It'd be like in you know, like those times of old where it's just like kill all the firstborn children. Like the feeling Ganon would kill it. See, I think about shit like this. I wanna see it. I wanna know what happens.
Have you guys ever thought about that?
No.
See, they never do. The people who like really love the games, they never think about shit like that. It's people like me who are like, man, why can't Ganon win? Like, why not? They'll plunge the world into darkness. So?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Right?
Well, that's probably going to wrap up this podcast.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you guys for joining
We'll
us.
end it on Zelda rape.
Zelda rape.
Look out for
Search that up.
future Zelda plays from these two.
Oh God.
If you have any questions, leave it on the FNX forums or YouTube or whatever. We'll answer it in a non-guest podcast. See ya.
Or, you can, ask me directly. You can get to me on Twitter or whatever you fucking want to do.
Yeah, you can say that shit to his face
Yeah.
if you have a question or a topic. See ya.